look up at the sky, ask it why are you all so afraid?
What is up, everyone? My name is Andrea. If you don't know me, you should subscribe because, like, why not? You should also hit the notification bell down below to be notified every time I upload a new video. But anyway, today I'm going to be filming my July wrap-up. It's crazy that we're already in August because I'm filming this in August. But like, seriously, where did the time go? Where did the year go? We're already more than halfway through. But I didn't have the best reading month in July. I read 6 books. I don't think any of them were, no, one of them was 5 stars, 2 of them were 5 stars, and that's because they were rereads. But besides that, I don't know, I just had a pretty average reading month, I think. This month I want to try to read a lot more books that make me happier, because a lot of these I kind of didn't like, but let's just get into it. So, first book I read was Cersei by Madeline Miller. Yes, this copy is absolutely disgusting. A fun fact, I went camping in July, at the beginning of July when I was reading this book, and we slept in a tent. It started pouring when we were down in the river one day, and then we came back and the tent had some water in it. My book was laying in a puddle of water, so that was fun. It got completely ruined and water damaged, which is really sad because I was highlighting stuff that I liked and like quotes that stuck out to me and whatever, but you know, it's fine. I guess I'll live. Highlighted some quotes, but anyway, I guess it's fine mostly because I didn't particularly like this book. I gave it, I think, 3 stars just because I was feeling generous. No, I think it was a 3-star. So Cersei is a retelling of a Greek mythology, the Greek mythology of Cersei. Okay, that made no sense, I feel like, but you get it. You know what this is about, I'm sure, because everyone loves this book. I just didn't. I've read The Song of Achilles. I loved The Song of Achilles. I thought I would love this one. And the writing style was the same, obviously. Madeline Miller, I think that's just her style that she'll write everything in. And I did find some beautiful quotes, but it wasn't enough to keep me interested. It wasn't enough for me to actually like the story or to care about anything in this book. And definitely, I think that if you're someone who loves Greek mythology and you knew stuff going into this book, you would love it a lot more than me. And I didn't know anything. I don't know a lot about Greek mythology, and so I didn't like it. I just didn't. I'm very sad about that, and it's ruined, so I'm getting rid of this, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so then I read Anyway the Wind Blows by Rainbow Rowell, the 3rd and final book in the Simon Snow trilogy. And if you don't know, the first book is called Carry On. You've probably heard of it. You've probably also heard of Rainbow Rowell because she had wrote Racist Things in, I think, Eleanor and Park, which I've never read that before, but from what I've heard, there was racist things in that book. And so Rainbow Rowell is someone that I tentatively read. Like, I definitely don't think that I would buy everything she's written or even read everything she's ever written, but I had read Carry On and I really liked this story. I really did like what she was doing with it. And then I read Wayward Son last year when it came out, and I was like, okay, what is she doing? I don't know what she's doing with that. So I didn't really like Wayward Son at first. I think I had read up on it, and she kind of explained why she wrote it the way she did, and it made sense, I guess, for the characters, but it wasn't, you know, anything great. So, of course, I had to finish out the series and read Anyway the Wind Blows, and I really do care for Simon Snow and Baz, Basilton, Grimpitch. I care for them a lot, okay? But, you know, I think she could have stopped while she was ahead with Carry On. Like, she didn't have to keep going. I need to check if I gave this 4 or 5 stars. I don't know. If I gave it 5 stars, I'm pretty sure I just did it for the nostalgia of how much I liked Carry On. But it also wasn't that bad. Like, it was actually an upbeat, funny book. It's what you would expect from a Simon Snow book. Like, it's very much similar to Carry On, whereas Wayward Son was depressing. And, you know, that's fine because, I mean, we all get depressed. But, you know, I don't know. I feel like I'm going on a tangent. But, yeah, so Wayward Son, no, this is Anyway the Wind Blows. I can't think. Anyway the Wind Blows was not bad. I did like it. I just liked to get to be with Simon and Baz for a little while longer, and I thought all the characters were really funny, and the way the author wrapped up all the storylines was great, and the fact that we finally got to see them not in America, you know, they're back home, we get to just see the end and see the resolutions to the story, and I thought that was cool. So 4 stars, I think, is what I gave it. Then I read A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair, which I am reading for a secret TBR video, which I'm sure now that I've said that, anyone can guess what it is, but I've been filming this secret TBR for a long time because I've been reading slow. But yeah, so this one is a retelling of Hades and Persephone, that Greek myth. So I guess this month I was just going on with all of my Greek myth books that I want to read. Except this one I gave 3 stars because it wasn't really that good. It's pretty hyped up, or it's been hyped up and that's how I heard about it, but I don't think it was expressively that good or exceedingly good. It was just okay. Now, I've never read a Hades and Persephone retelling. I don't know if anybody out there can do it better than Scarlett St. Clair, but I just know Scarlett St. Clair didn't do it that great, so maybe somebody else can. But it wasn't, it was just a very realistic fantasy book because the setting is like modern day New York, and the main character, Persephone, is a journalist, but she is also a goddess in hiding. And that was what was really interesting to me. I don't exactly like urban fantasies, like getting to see these Greek myths that are still like, they're still the myths, and everybody in the city knows that there's goddesses and gods, but they're just like okay with them walking around and owning nightclubs and stuff in this book. And I was like, what? Everybody's just cool with that? Everybody just knows? Like, everybody's like, oh, y'all want to go to Apollo's nightclub today? Like, what are we doing tonight? And I'm like, all right then. And Persephone's like, oh, let's go to Hades nightclub, I don't really want to go, but of course her friend drags her along, and that's pretty much the plot of how it gets started and all that stuff, and how she meets Hades. And I don't think it was very much like the exact myth. In fact, I read up on what it was, and it did have a lot of differences, and the author did do her own take on it, so that was cool. But it just wasn't, my favorite book ever. It just wasn't written that well, wasn't that funny, wasn't too entertaining. Like, it didn't keep me wanting to read, and that's what I've been yearning for lately in a book. I just want something that keeps me reading, that's a page turner, and this wasn't it. So 3 stars. Okay, so then I did my reread of Heir of Fire, of course, because I've been rereading Throne of Glass on audiobook, and so I got through this one on audio, and it's a 5 stars, it's a reread, it's a 5 stars, and we got Rowan coming in this book, and he just, saves the series. I'm just kidding, it was still good without Rowan, but it's even better with Rowan, and I did love this one, so I have nothing else to say, but I do love it, obviously. Then I read I'm Not Dying With You Tonight by Gilly Siegel and Kimberly Jones. This book, I have never actually heard anyone talk about it, and I remember I bought it like a year or 2 ago. I've hauled this book way back, like I don't even know when, and I've had it on my TBR cart, and I really wanted to read it, so this month I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get through some books on my TBR. This is the only one that was on my TBR cart, actually, and Cersei. Cersei was too. So what I'm Not Dying With You Tonight is about is these 2 main characters are at a high school football game. They both go to the same school, but they both have very different lives. So one of them, Lena, is black, and then Campbell is white. Campbell recently moved to that school from a different school. Lena has her own stuff going on. The 2 girls are not friends. But when something goes down at this football game, they have to help each other to basically survive the night and get through all the events that take place with them just trying to go home. So there are these 2 girls that presumably have very different lifestyles, but they're going through situations and learning that maybe they're not as different as they think, and that when you look closer to someone, when you get to know someone, you get to know that everyone has their struggles, everyone's just trying to make it. And I think in the sense of Lena and Campbell, they really found ways to understand each other throughout this one night. And so the way the authors wrote it, I thought was pretty cool, because it's in dual POV, and each of the authors wrote their own. Like, one of them had Lena, one of them had Campbell. And it was cool to see the way that they wrote the 2 dynamics and the way they flowed together. And so I think I gave it a 4 star, maybe a 3. I think I gave it a 4. It was done pretty well. It was a really fast read, and I think that it was engaging, especially because it's fast paced, because it takes place all in one night. And there were some really cool aspects of the book, some frustrating things, and overall I think it is worth it if you're ever looking for a contemporary you want to read really quick in one day. It was still a good read. So yeah, I'm Not Dying With You Tonight. This cover is also really cool. I really like it. Okay, so finally I reread Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I read it on audiobook, And I have been wanting to reread Red Rising for so long because I haven't read Iron Gold and Dark Age, I think. Yeah, I haven't read those two, but I want to read them so bad, so I knew that I had to reread the trilogy before I can get into those two. So I reread Red Rising, and you know, I'm not supposed to reread that much. I'm trying to tackle my TBR, but like I couldn't help it. And getting to reread Red Rising, there's so much substance there. It's almost like reading it for the first time again. Like I was picking up on so many more things. I know more because you just know how things play out, so you can catch on to little tells in the first book, and so that was really cool. And yeah, it's a 5-star. Like, I don't know, Red Rising is just one of my all-time favorites. Pierce Brown is so talented, same thing I always say, but if you haven't read Red Rising, what are you doing? It's literally the best thing ever. Shout out to Darrow and Severo, Omnis Ver Lupus, you know, Everyone a Wolf, Howler Gang, all that stuff, right? If you know what I'm talking about, I love you, because the Red Rising fandom, I think, is the coolest fandom. But okay, anyway, that's all I have to say for this video. Those are the 6 books I read. Hopefully in August I will read more. I finished 1 book today. It's the 3rd. It's the 4th. I'm so lost. But I finished summer school, my summer classes for college, so I had a little bit of free time for a while. I'm off today and tomorrow. I'm gonna read all day, so things are looking bright for August, but I hope I don't regret those words by the end of August. But that's pretty much it. So I hope your July was good. Let me know what your favorite read of July was down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!
Forget about all types of things. You